most people you think are going to be nice to your kid, and some people are going to be mean to your kid, but the movie's going to have to stand up on its own 2 feet now. That's it. I've done all I can, but I love it. I love the crew, and I've had just such a lovely time.
Congrats on this movie. It is fantastic.
Ah,
When we
thanks,
were
mate.
there, it was not yet done. And I'm curious
Mm.
for you now, looking back on that process and finally being here about to see it release. How does it feel for you, you know, now that it's done?
Yeah, it's a great sense of satisfaction you get when you finish the movie. And we had our premiere at the London Film Festival, which was big, over 2,000 seats, including my mum. And it just played great. And then we had a friends and family set of screenings in Bristol, and we had 10 screens. Like there are that many people in the crew, and then friends and people that are all affected by this movie. We had 2,000 people, and it just played great. So in some ways, that's it for me. That was like the high point because it's not out in the world yet, like then you have to let go. And it is a bit like a kid, it is a bit like you're having to let your kid go out into the world. And like most people you think are going to be nice to your kid, and some people are going to be mean to your kid, but the movie's going to have to stand up on its own 2 feet now. That's it. I've done all I can, but I love it. I love the crew, and I've had just such a lovely time.
Well, I think it's going to do very well to stand on its own 2 feet because
Yeah.
you and your crew did a phenomenal job on it. One of the things I remember we were talking about during the set visit were some of the bigger sequences you were really excited for in this movie, as well as some of the even smaller ones like the stairwell
Yes.
as Miss Tweedy goes
This is
down that
Tweety's reveal.
staircase. Having finally seen the movie on a big screen, which sequence would you say played much better than you maybe anticipated on the big screen?
I mean, I think I love the whole of it. I did love I refer to the premiere, which was like with a big live audience. Yeah, the Tweety coming down the stairs played it was perfect timing, and that was really tricky to get that just right, just to extend it for just too long. Um, I loved that. I really enjoy the 2D film, like when, like that whole scene after she's come down the stairs and the revelation of like what goes on there and how it all works. That was just such a big gear change. I really enjoy that. But still for me, I think there's a moment where just the three characters, Molly, Ginger, and Rocky, are sitting down together at their lowest moment, and it's just intimate acting, and especially on a big screen. I mean, that's Molly's face is that big; it's like the size of your thumb, and the animation that goes into like bringing that character to life and making you care for her is beyond amazing to me, and to see that play in a for any audience, to be honest, but to see how well that landed, because that's the work of one person, and as much directing as I want to do, in the end, it's in that person's hands, and they pulled it off. So that's just like a high wire. It's like someone going up on a high wire and walking between two buildings. It's like, wow.
It never ceases to amaze me the feats that stop motion can pull off. Even having seen it firsthand in the studio, it
Yeah,
still is
it
incredible.
is incredible. Yeah.
One thing I remember we talked about as well was how with some of the recasting, it was a combination of you wanting to put your own stamp on this world, as well as feeling some of the prior casting choices were better for their time periods versus now. I'm
Yeah.
curious who you felt was the most important and the most challenging character to recast heading into this movie.
No, I mean, I guess it would be Ginger, wouldn't it? Because it's her movie, like it's that's really there's a number of things that have like unlocked this film and allowed us to carry from one to the other. And but in the end, it was following Ginger's story to the next chapter has like really been the heart of it. So yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't find it challenging at the time because I was just already committed to like making a new movie for a new time. I'd already kind of made that decision, I guess. Um, I don't, maybe I wouldn't have made that decision if I didn't see a new opportunity and somebody didn't stand out as like being like really, really right for the new chapter. And so Tandyway was that. I think, you know, I think like no, I think maybe it's just coincidence or happenstance that she was in Westworld at that time. I've always admired her. I mean, she has an incredible voice. She's an amazing survivor. I mean, she's been in the business for decades, you know, and finding her way through. And but just she was just on my screen in Westworld. You know, I was just following that series. I was a fan and just really amazed by what she was doing. And then that was just happening in subconsciously, I guess, watching that. And then at the same time, we're developing Ginger and like changing her and rolling her around and discovering a sort of another kind of side to her, a more vulnerable side. Her being a mother now, and I think that's what happens to you when you become a parent. You do become more vulnerable. You know, she had nothing to lose in the first film. It was a much more straightforward role, but this is more complex. And I don't know. I probably it's the one that of the it's the one of the old cast, if you like. I'd say not old. I don't want to use that word, but like the previous cast that had the most kind of like layers and levels to it and needed to be got most right, I would say, you know. And obviously then Molly is the most important new character, really.
Well, you did a phenomenal job bringing in Tandaway. She does a great job to transition between those chapters, and I really cannot wait for people to see her. So, Sam, thank you so much for taking the time again to chat with me. I greatly appreciate it.